Let's continue our conversation with healthcare expert and attorney Brian Herrera, joining us via Skype from Tampa, Florida. I'm sorry, no, it's Brian Rotella. We just had Jen Herrera. There's kind of a rhyme there. Can you tell it's a Monday? 1,000 pardons to both Jen and Brian. Brian Rotella, paging Brian Rotella. Let me get my facts straight here on this Monday morning. Perhaps I'm taken a bit aback, Brian, by the story appearing in the Washington Times this morning. The headline reading, Senate Republicans near votes to replace Obamacare with state block grants. And it sounds so simple, but I've also understood that Senate Republicans are notorious for leaving things up to staff, for talking in broad philosophical terms, and while we would like to see a dynamic form of federalism, all I know is you're going to have states like New York and California, to name a couple of infamous examples, probably Illinois too, that if you block grant them the money, it's going to be a complete mess. Is there any virtue in this plan being advanced by physician and Louisiana Republican Senator Bill Cassidy, and also the real Sancho Panza of the Don Quixote analogy you used earlier, one Lindsey Graham of South Carolina?
Well, I'll tell you, JD, I've been called a lot of things, but never Jennifer. Now, that was new, but no, you can compare me to her anytime. It's a compliment. Block grants, Lindsey Graham, all of these terms should scare Americans. And they should scare Americans because it means we're going to have more and more involvement from the federal government or even the state government in our health care. And I keep going back to that analogy because I'm hoping, and I know you understand it, JD, I want your audience and I want people to really think about it. Let me connect the dots a little bit better here. What we had in the mortgage crisis, and remembering that scene in The Big Short, folks were fraudulently putting out, or brokers were preparing these applications for subprime mortgage loans. What you're seeing in healthcare already is that quote from former President Obama that you played on the lead-in showed, there are millions of illegal immigrants that are already getting health care through either the Obamacare exchanges or through Medicaid. There are absolutely millions that have received federal subsidies, whether they're immigrants or not, through fraudulent or at the very least, highly negligent preparation of applications, again, for Medicaid and for Obamacare. How in the world, if you take a block grant to a state and leave it up to the next tier of government officials, not even the federal tier, but our folks in the governor's state houses or even at the lower levels, are they going to get this right? That's what concerns me so much. I mean, folks, it's 20...
Well, yeah, go ahead and finish very quickly. We got about 30 seconds.
20% of our economy, leaving 20% of our economy up to federal dollars flowing back to states like California, the People's Republic out there, and to New York for our health care. It's got to have a bad ending.
Got it. Unfortunately, we have to end our interview right here, Brian Rotella, but we appreciate it. And it's not some good, hard-working states like Indiana or Arizona. It's states like California and New York that should give us pause. Brian, we thank you for your time, and I'll be back with more right after this.